We've unlocked a bunch of CG already in Arc 5, but this is just the tip of the iceberg here. There's just a few of them. Look at how many there are in Arc 5. Look at how many CGs there are in the game. Crikey, the developer went to town here with these CGs. And Genzu's on the main menu, so let us see how we're going along in the forest today. We've returned back to these parts in Our Wonderland. 50 minutes later sees us wandering back through the Sea of Pink, using the river to our left as a guide as we navigate the leaf-strewn underpath. Genzu was able to keep up better than I thought he would. Yes, because his legs were really injured in the last time around. Only the occasional grunt, wince, hiss breath as he follows along beside me to remind me of his predicament. I can't tell if it's really gotten any better or if he's just hiding it from me. Either way, he says nothing, and we walk mostly in silence. Around trunk and bush, sidestepping fallen branches and gnarled roots, I spy the dock at some point. Or what's left of it anyway. Crumpled, chewed planks that had led into the water before disappearing beneath the inky shoals. The whole river has gone black by this point, dark and thick, no waves skitter atop its surface, and a grey foam decorates the line where it meets the land. I stare at it for a moment, quiet. A single bubble rises to the surface with a gurgled plop. Ugh. Guess someone didn't invest enough in water treatment efforts, or somebody went into the waters to make sure that water treatment efforts were needed in the first place. I don't respond. Instead, bring a foot up to scratch at my calf. A foot? Okay. Then we carry on. From here, the path is much clearer, more vivid. A park we've walked many times before. And still, the forest in some way, shape or form at some point will try to kill us. Through the veil of pink trees, watching the leaves quiver in trembling scattertoe with the breeze. Did Gidget walk this same path? Did all of them? And where's a gigantic billboard of Gidget at some point? I think about them now. What are they doing? They remember too, don't they? They have to. Did they come try to fix things the same as us? I don't think their way of fixing things is as different, is the same as yours. Sorry, for answers? For something else. Surely, things won't be the same as they were before. Surely. I swallow a bit too hard. A glint of something flashes through my mind. Scissors. Oh no, not scissors. Snipping and snapping as they cut through my hair. Act 1, I believe. Cut through me. But they'd been good moments too. Yeah, the scissors definitely good moments. Gidget's hand in mine, the warmth of her lips. Which Gidget awaits us now? I don't know, actually. Ah, here we go. All of a sudden, my footsteps change in timber. I glance down to see the dirt path has given way to cobblestones. Right, of course. Oh, joy. We're almost Indeed. I ignore him, tossing a glance forward instead of my eyes in search of something. The billboard. Also respond to Genzu at some point, please, but there's nothing but the sea of trees. That's interesting. What? The missing larger-than-life pin-up? I noticed too. We keep walking, but the path continues, empty and signless. Who took down the sign? That's a good... That's a good sign, right? Or a sign that we're in for a lot worse. Who can say at this point, really, am I right or am I right? I hum beneath my breath, gaze still wondering the parameter. That's when I see it. Movement up ahead. Over there, I say before transitioning into a jog. Here we go again. My steps take me further up the path to where someone is trimming the bushes with a set of gardening shears. It has to be a scissors-like object. Whoop. Snip, snap, snip. What are they like Iggy? They're extremely careful as they work. meticulous with each crisp cut, hands measuring out a perfect evenness to the branches. And it takes me a moment to realize exactly what I'm looking at. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm thinking that too. Is that Iggy? Wait, is everyone in this town Iggy? Blink. Genzu jogs up beside me, breath heavy. He also pauses. Both of us just staring. Genzu's the first one to open his mouth. Why the hell does Mr. Trimney over there look exactly like you, Iggs? I don't know. My fingers are shaking at this point. Because it's true. He does. From the white crop of hair, to the huge ears, to the pastry sheen on his stick-like arms, and even to the pale blue swath of his shirt. It's me. Wait till we turn around. But that can't be. That can't be. Can it? I take a step forward, heart picking up in my ears. 1 step, 2. My lips part. And in a half-dazed trance, I hear myself shout, "Hey! Whoa, you've got yourself some better... you got some buttoned eyes." The man that looks like me jumps, freezes. Oh, then turns back to look at us. "What are you up to there, whatever you are? You're not me. And are your glasses upside down as well?" There's something off about him. Yeah, his eyes are buttons. Something that's not quite... But before I can get a closer look, he bolts. Well, at least he's not trying to kill us. "Hey!" He goes careening up the path, gangly arms flailing as his shoes pound against the cobbles. "Hey, stop!" I take off after him without thinking, my own heart leaping up into my ears. "Catch that doppelganger!" Genzu charges after me, a beat behind. Then we race. Wee, whipping by carefully trimmed bush after carefully trimmed bush, over spotlessly dusted cobblestones, past coiled spindles of purple roses atop quaint red brick railings. The man who looks like me gazes back, gives another jolt of anxious surprise, continues running, and I push myself harder, even as my lungs burn and my heels throb and the copper taste of blood dances on my tongue. I can reach him. I need to reach him. My mind, my gaze, my focus hones in on him. Only him. Who are you? In fact, I've become so transfixed, but I didn't even notice the shadow just to the left of the path up ahead. Not until the blow comes without warning. The blow, you say? A dull metal ring in my head, and I go down hard, rolling and tumbling across the ground as stars dance across my eyes. Another clang behind me. I barely register it. Only hear the resulting thud of a body on cobbles. Great. All I could do is gaze upwards as my vision blurs in and out. A quickly fading kaleidoscope. Ah, then they're over me. Hi. Oh my gosh, it's this all over again. Rather than rabbits, it's doppelgangers of myself. I don't even have a chance to wonder what the hell is going on. What is going on? Your eyes have buttons. Before I black out. You right there, whatever you are? Iggies. My head is killing me. A throbbing ache blooming out from the back of my skull. I groan against it, squeeze my eyes. Yeah, Gidget's obsession with us has definitely gone to a new level here. Then pop them open. Whoa there. Only to see a familiar face less than 5 centimeters in front of my own. It takes me a moment to register and I blink. Blink again. Then jolt backwards so hard I hit my head back again against the stone and send another rainbow purrielette of pain across my skull. God damn it. I nurse the back of my head with a wince, and the other me leans back on its haunches, cocking its head to the side. Are you alright there? Why you treat me so badly? Do you know who I am? I'm the original yous. I managed to survey my surroundings. There's more of them. Lots more. They're all around us. Standing, kneeling, all of them looking at us curiously, studying us. I start to sit up, then give a start at the one I hadn't even noticed right behind me, practically breathing down my neck. Where's Genzo in this? This is... I don't know what the hell this is. My face is a portrait of bewilderment as my mind attempts to finagle an explanation of the scene before me. They're all me. They're all the other versions of you that unfortunately died in previous acts. Only not quite. There's something off about them. Yeah, have you only noticed just now their buttons and their mouths? I haven't noticed actually. They don't have any mouths. What are they? Puppets. There's a groan next to me, and I glance over to see Genzo pushing himself up to a seat. He rubs the back of his head with a grimace. I'm already convinced this entire Wonderland story was carefully engineered by some sadistic storyteller to cause me pain. So if we could let up even just a little, that'd be great, thanks. Who are you talking to? One of the Iggys squat down in front of him, head tilted, then leans forward in inquisitive scrutiny, their noses no less than a few inches apart. Genzo blanches, then jerks back with a flustered start. Jesus! But there's one behind him, too, tugging curiously at his collar, analyzing the tufts of hair sticking out from under his cap. I see Genzo's face turn about 50 shades of red, because they're all Iggies. This is... For once, he can't seem to come up with an accompanying piece of witty commentary. Yeah, because if this was any other person, then probably he would, but they're Iggies. This is ridiculous, is what it is. Just what the hell is going on here? With a huff, I raise to my feet, staggering only slightly as I find my balance. This seems to startle the Iggies. They recoil with anxious jerks of their arms, stepping back to monitor us from a safer distance. Now at a better vantage point, I take in our surroundings. We're in town. Are any of the buildings any different, or is it just the citizens? The town. Or at least I'm pretty sure we are. I recognize a number of the buildings, the cafes, bakery, inn, but things look different. Neater, cleaner, more elegant. Elegant, you say? White picket fences line the paths. Ornate rose bushes peek out from yards, all carefully trimmed. Even the buildings themselves, they look like they've been given a fresh coat of paint, now brilliant shades of white and purple, and their windows gleam spotless in the sun. It's immaculate. Not a single spot of dirt or dust on the ground, not a single branch or leaf out of place. Hey, I found this tree here. Can I take a branch off, a leaf off, and put it on the ground? I wonder how they react. And it's seemingly empty too. Empty except for the crowd of Iggies surrounding us. There's going to be no other visual novel in the history of existence that's going to have those same words in their sentence. I turn back to the throng, feeling at a bit of a loss. One of the Iggies steps forward, cocks his head, then begins waving his arms, first as though in anxious apology, then in thoughtful befuddlement, then in skeptical inquisition. I simply stare at him. Genzo lurches to his feet next to me. I think he's trying to talk to you, he hisses. The other Iggy looks at me a moment longer, scratches his head, then tries again, waving his arms more fervently. Now it's my turn to scratch my head. I'm sorry, I can't understand you. I try, somewhat unconsciously mimicking some of the same movements as the doll. The other Iggy slumps. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I throw another glance around the crowd, so many eyes on us. I tug at my collar nervously. I also can't help but notice their little mannerisms. Some of them playing with their hands. Some of them rocking back and forth on their feet. Some of them itching at their noses in rapid flourishes of vexed unease. I blink. Is this what I look like? Aside from the buttoned eyes and the lack of mouth, yes, I instinctively itch at my own nose. Then no, so that's where the sentence returns into the fray. Then gnaw a huge chunk out of the side of my cheek in growing discomfort. I turn back to be Iggy in front. Is Gidget here? Ah, this seems to brighten the mood. He pops back up, finger raised in inspiration, then shoots off another series of rapid-fire arm signals before nodding expectantly. Please tell me you got that. Oh gosh, I mean, I guess that's a yes? Then back to be Iggy. Could you, take us to her? We really need to see her. And then as an afterthought, where are her friends? The lead Iggy points emphatically somewhere off to the right, then nods. At this, the crowd. Oh, the crowd swarms! They're all Iggies! The Iggies leap forwards towards us in apparent excitement, pushing us forward down the path. Some of them running out in front, some of them guiding us ahead, patting our shoulders, reaching out to touch our faces and hair. My discomfort rises about 1,000-fold. Or at least they're not trying to kill us. I do my best to swallow the urge to curl up into a little ball of cobblestones and follow their lead obediently. At least they're friendly? Yeah, with a question mark. I toss a gaze at Genzo, whose eyes look like they're about to bug out of his face. His gaze shoots back and forth between the Iggies touching his head and shoulders as he walks stiff-legged next to me. Genzo, you better not have any ideas as to what's happening right now, and thinking that the treatment you're getting from these doppelganger Iggies is going to be something that a real one would give you. He got his lips pressed together so hard it's a wonder his jaw doesn't snap. We lead through the town, past more pristine houses, ornate gardens. If this place had fairy tale vibes before, now it's absolutely dripping with them. It's just so perfect. To the point that I find myself afraid to touch anything, lest I leave a dirty fingerprint or even hair on the paint. Further and further we walk, more Iggies join us along the way. I still haven't spotted a single person besides an Iggy. What happened to them all? They all transformed. Well, we haven't been to a grand manor before. I wonder if Cecile and, what's their name? Gidget is here. But I'm not given long to ruminate on this question because in front of me, the grandest manor I've ever seen erupts across my vision. All lush white exterior, sprawling balconies, vine-wrapped pillars, and accompanied by flowers and greenery, a neatly kept garden with bursts of purple blooms. It's a perfect picture portrait of quaint immodesty. Genzo takes one look at the manor, his jaw slack, then spins on his heels. That's it, I'm going back. Genzo! I grab his arm on instinct despite his trademark hyperbole. Gidget was hell enough when all she had was an inn. Now she's got a whole freaking mansion. He throws his arms out of emphasis. And an army of Iggy lookalikes. I throw a glance at the army in question. Look, they're harmless, I think. He's not wrong. Though despite how unnerving their presence is, they don't seem to want us any harm. We don't know what's in the mind of them. In fact, I can't read their emotions at all. Do they even have emotions? I watch the one nearest me blow upwards as a lock of bane covering his eyes again and again. Nor do they seem capable of it. I blink and turn towards the mansion. Maybe she... I trail off, unable to think of a way to end my sentence. Maybe she what? Maybe she wants to skin us? Maybe she wants to invite us to a nice tea party, then poison us and eat our brains? Gosh, what a... Yeah, you have a point. I chomp down on my lip with a grimace. Despite the exaggerated examples, he's not wrong. Gidget has, well, let's just say she's done things. Yeah, things, yeah, that's the most basic way of putting things. Things I'd rather not think about. Things that make my stomach twist and icy prickles of anxiety run up and down my arms and legs. I guess you have a point. I don't think she'd ever do anything like that, but I'd rather not give her the chance to try. I get the feeling this is going to lead us to death. Cold driblets of sweat break out across my forehead. It's not like I want to remember, like I want to think about her hands around my throat, the snip of the scissors around my tongue, the way in which I was incapacitated, she was on top of me. The panic in my heart as she lifted me into her arms, carried me to the bed. I'll fix you, Iggy. I wipe at my face. Next to me, Genzu blinks, presses his lips together. Here's Burrow's twitch and concern. Hey, you okay? Yeah, sorry. Memories, I guess. He brings a hand to my shoulder. Everything's gonna be fine, yeah? Sorry if my overreacting scared you. You know me. This mouth has a tendency to run away from me. But yet it's still attached to you. Miles and miles away. It's not you, it's just... Ugh. Anyway, you're right. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine. Genzu cocks a brow. That wouldn't convince a fly, but I guess I'll take it. Come on, let's get this over with, yeah? I let her sigh, but let him lead me towards the manor entrance. Wait a minute. I thought we were going away from the manor. Why do I have the feeling this is going to be a long, long night? Who knows? But what I'd like to know, Gidget, is why is there denizens of me lookalikes around the town? Hello? Anybody home? Well, would you look at that? It seems like we've stumbled into somewhere that looks similar to Orlam's castle. The door closes with a creak behind us. Sorry, the imaginary castle. It doesn't exist, okay? Cloaking us in the dim luminescence of the manor interior. The inside is quite a sight. Fancy. Decadent. Like the estate of some wealthy barnaress. Gilded ornate paper lining the walls, triple-tier chandeliers illuminating room after room, delicate china and golden fineries crowning furniture of rich mahogany. I'm reminded of Orlam's castle, of course you are. The same aura of unrestrained extravagance draping off every inch of the place. Only smaller, more compact, cozier. Perhaps if you could describe such a lavish chateau as such. Genzu whistles beneath his teeth next to me. Looks like someone leveled up. Leveled up. This is quite the upgrade. Stop with the game references! How come this place can't shower me with opulent niceties? I like to live in the lap of luxury for once. Well, unfortunately, that is going to be a luxury in which you will not be granted. It is a tempting sight. There are more Iggies inside, some of them sweeping and dusting the rooms, some of them carting trays of food, and still others standing like watchmen beside the doors. The nearest one pulls a lopsided salute at the approach of our group. Our group? And the eagy-eyed attempt to speak with earlier steps forward, I see more flailing of arms and hands. Gidget, could you teach me how to understand these Iggies? I still have no idea how they're communicating. They're communicating through utter BS. But the idea must have been conveyed, because the watchman Iggy glances towards the back stairwell, then shrugs and motions us through. Some security. Yes. This is Iggy number 1 million. This is Iggy number 1,000,001. This is Iggy number 1,000,000,000 and 1,000,000th and 1. And the trail, and the cycle goes on. More Iggies go pushing past us. This is quite alarming. All of them seem hiding. Just watching all his Iggies. This is a nightmare for sure. Especially if a fear of buttons. Eager to get to where they're going and half stumbling down the stairs. Some of them carrying glimmering silver trays. Some of them donning all assortments of cleaning apparatuses. And still others carrying nothing at all, but wangling their hands for such fervor. I'm surprised they don't trip and fall face first down the steps. Around and around the spiral steps. I'm not laughing at the words, it's just all these Iggies in front of me. Until we reach the top landing and step out into a grand upper hall lined with flickering sconces and painting after painting of Gidget. Of course, it's paintings of Gidget. My thoughts go first to the placards once they had once lined the path into the village of Gidget and her many assembles, all of them flashy and colourful, and occasionally erotic. However, these portraits are different, painted in dark, heavy strokes and showcasing a stern-faced Gidget in a variety of Victorian-esque dresses adorned with lace and frills. I didn't know Gidget was inspired by 1800s / very early 1900s sort of British stuff. It's more like the 1800s. The emotionless features, the stiff posture. She looks almost dead. Doll-like, okay. Close enough. I'm feeling a tad perceived. You're telling me? I jerk my gaze away from one portrait in particular that seems as though its eyes are following me. The memories are coming back stronger now. Memories of that room in the inn, of Gidget sitting next to me on the bed, of her eyes boring into me, of her hands. I shake my head, wipe up my forehead. No, things will be different this time. How they will be, I'm certain. Our Iggies leads us down the hall of Gidgets, stopping at a large set of gold-trimmed double doors. He pauses. Knocks. And about 30 seconds later, another Iggy pops his head out of the door curiously. He sees us, blinks, then shuts the door. Another minute passes, and I scratch at my calf with the side of my foot in awkward silence. Finally, he returns, and this time the door opens wide. We usher into an ornate bedroom. A giant four-poster canopy bed sits against the back wall, its enormous mattress topped with a marshmallow-like divot and an army of lacy pillows. Plush purple carpet lines the wide expanse floor, and daintily decaled furniture interrupts the horizon in picture-perfect arrangement, all of it looking as though carefully carved by a master craftsman. I feel myself start to sweat as I look around. Oh, goodness me, Iggy, what a pleasant surprise. Excuse me, Gidget, which Iggy are you talking to? My gaze shoots to the son of a voice, the enormous round tea table on the right-hand side of the room. Well, hi there, and you seem a little different this time around. And the owner of the voice, currently situated snugly amongst a mountain of frilled blankets as its head. Gidget! Gidget beams at us from above a porcelain teacup. She looks the same as the portraits outside, all done up from head to toe in lace and filigree. A delicate wide-brimmed hat crowning her head. Oh gosh, I feel like the worst is yet to come. And her lower half capacity obfuscated by a giant billowing skirt that flows out across the floor like a waterfall of purple. She tilts her head to the side with a bemused frill. And perfect timing too. I was just sitting down for tea. Won't you join me? Next to me, Gens just swallows hard. I know what I said before was a joke, but the possibility is suddenly becoming a bit too real. He is. Before I'm able to respond, our guide, Iggy, gives us an exuberant push forward towards the table as another set of Iggies approaches to pull a duo of chairs from the table. Okay, Gidget, which Iggy is real? We're shoved into them just a tad bit too hard. Okay, this is another reminiscent of Where's Wally, but instead it's Where's the real Iggy? Then practically choked as the Iggy's tie a set of napkins tied around our necks, sorry. I tug on mine with a grimace, then look out across the table. Hello! It's filled with trays of pies and cookies, scones and tarts. Yeah, something about them. Why don't you have one first, Gidget, just to, test the waters a little bit here. Something about all of this is filling me with a lot of distrust. This town really has become like Gidget's perfect paradise. From behind, a pair of Iggies Oh gosh, I wonder if we go to Orland's castle and it's just going to be filled with Genzus. Like, half Genzus or chopped off Genzus or something along those lines. A pair of Iggies delivers us each a cup and saucer full of tea. I eat dubiously but don't partake. It's ever so lovely that you would join me today. Gidget's voice is sickly sweet. She takes a sip of her tea. It's been so long since we last spoke. Has it? She brings her hand to her mouth with a laugh. Oh yes, I've forgotten. It's only been a matter of days to you. I chuckle nervously, place my hands in my lap. You remember too then, I start. Of course. It was quite the surprise, I must say, to realize how much has happened, how much we've gone through together. You say that with an evil grin there, Gidget. That's one way to put it, Genzu grumbles beneath his breath. Gidget's smile curls even wider. Oh yes, you and I had our fair share of toughs, didn't we, Genzu? If you call keeping you from snipping Ig's doof toughs, then yeah, we have our fair share of them. This elicits a high-pitched squeal from Gidget. I feel my toes curl in discomfort as I watch her bat a hanky to her eyes. How extraordinarily droll. I have to say that I missed your unique brand of off-color comedy. Brushes an errant hair out of her eyes. Don't you worry about Iggy. I have no such inclinations any longer. No, I am happy to say that I've moved on. Yeah, right. Yeah, after the previous incarnations of our trips down here, yes, of course, this particular Gidget is going to be different. Yes, very different. Yes, we believe the words of a maniac. Yes. I blink. Sit up just a bit straighter. You have? She brings a finger to her lips, gaze going skyward in memory. It took me a while, admittedly. I was a bit beset when I arrived here, as you might imagine. All those memories, all those rejections. I clasped my hands together, fingers clawing at each other, but I used that feeling to propel me forward. It fueled me, Iggy. So, how can you explain all of the citizens in this town that were once individuals, now literal automatons, look the same, no different from one another, and they all look like me? Gidget, explain that. And oh, the things you can do when inspired. She splays her hands with such energetic gusto that a few splashes of tea jump out to decorate her chin. Great, one of the Iggy saddles over to quickly wipe them away. She takes this opportunity to tug on his collar, her fingers caressing his cheek. All my beautiful darlings, for instance. The Iggy curls in against her palm with an affectionate nuzzle. I programmed all of them myself. Wonderful, aren't they? Adorably efficient. Obedient. What have you done to them? She runs her finger beneath his chin with a lascivious grin. Oh, for goodness sake. Did you really have to go there? Did you really have to go beneath the sheets? The temperature of my cheeks rises about 500 degrees. And next to me, Genzu promptly chokes on his own spit. He beats his fist against his chest as he coughs up half a lung. They're everything I could ever want. Perfect companions for a perfect life. Gidget returns her attention to her tea with a leer, fingertips holding it pointedly to her lips as she blows across the surface. Without thinking, I grab my own tea, hands shaking as I take a sip. Any kind of distraction is a godsend right now, even if it is laced with anything that would actually kill us. Those childish feelings have long since passed though. I have no need for things like anger and jealousy. Are you sure, Gidget? I don't trust you. No, they would be quite unbecoming, I think. I've expunged all such imperfect urges from my life, if you say so, Gidget. That's nice. I stare down at my tea. At any rate, eat, the food will go to waste otherwise, and you two are surely famished after your little adventure, she says with a demure smile. She's not wrong, but something about the food makes my stomach turn. All of it sweet. Too sweet. The coin smell curling in my sinuses and making my stomach royal. What do you mean go to waste? Aren't you gonna eat any of it? Genzu moans as he scratches at his cheek. Ah, a very inquisitive Genzu, wanting Gidget to taste it first. Gidget pauses, a look of absolute bewilderment colouring her features. Then laughs. Laughs as she just heard the most amusing accolade. I know how to say this word, I don't know. Anecdote of her life. Heavens, no. Once you've achieved this level of perfection, you no longer need to consume anything. Quite dirty, really, when you think about it. Eating. Chomping away on all those little bits like some kind of cow. She takes another sip of her tea. Then why are you sipping on your tea then? No, I partake in nothing but my daily rations of tea. How else do you think I managed to retain this figure? What figure? Genzu brows arc. But then why make all of this food? He sounds absolutely affronted. One must keep up appearances. She grabs another Iggy on his way by with another tray of freshly made egg tarts. Pinches his cheeks with a playful grin. And I need something to keep my little darlings occupied. They get so restless when they have nothing to do. I simply stare at her in disbelief. Then glance around to see all the Iggies watching me. Gulp. Shrink just a bit in my chair. Finally, I grab one of the cookies so as to not appear rude, nibbling on it in silence. Next to me, Genzu sighs and reaches one of the cupcakes. Please don't let this be the last cupcake I ever eat. We munch on our sweets in silence. Gidget watches us with a look of contented accomplishment, painting her cheeks. The plates of desserts are changed out for new ones, most of them untouched. Genzu coughs next to me. I continue chewing on my cookie, once, twice, again and again, until it turns into battery soap in my mouth. Another cough. This one is followed by an elbow in the ribs that nearly sends the cookie slobber out between my lips. Ix! I throw him a confused glance. He just glares at me, gaze shooting pointedly between me and Gidget. Say something! He finally hisses. Oh, Then turn back to Gidget with an awkward squeak in my chair. This is great and all, but like, surely you're not going to stay down here, right? I feel like I've had the same conversation a million times over at this point, but I don't know what else to say. Yeah, this feels like a lot of deja vu. Clearly, there's something wrong here. Something we need to fix. This place is warping us. Warping? Gidget cocks her head to the side. Then smiles, more like transforming. Yeah, that's another word for warping. I see everything so perfectly now. All the mistakes I've made have opened my eyes, enlightened me to my own stupidity. All my life I've relied on someone else to make me perfect. But I could achieve my own perfection, craft it with my own hands. Don't you see? I have everything I've ever wanted, and I did it all myself. A cold tendril of dread curls itself up in my chest, tickling the base of my larynx. Everything you've ever wanted? I grimace, tossing a glance around the room. What have you ever wanted? Any of this? None of this seems like you. I take a sip of my tea, hoping it will mask my discomfort. Oh, very devilish. What would you know about me? Rather snake-like. And for a brief moment, something about her changes. Yeah, her eyes! Her eyes. They give off an otherworldly flash of yellow. And I swear I see her pupils split for a second. I sit back in my chair with a start, sloshing tea up and onto my wrists. But the moment is short-lived. She blinks. Sits back with a smile. Beckons a nearby Iggy to come refill her cup. Yes, what would you know about me? She muses as she sits back, impish smile playing on her lips. You've done nothing but stifle me all my life. You and your graceless comments. This abhorrent dependency on you has done nothing but hold me back. Oh, 'cause you're the patron saint of altruism. Genzu pushed himself to his feet. Oh, please, must we start this again? Gidget fans to herself. You're only making a fool out of yourself. It's fine, Genzu. It's absolutely fine. There's no need for violence. I want to say something. I really do. Because she's right. She's goddamn right. But all of a sudden my voice feels trapped up inside my larynx like an air bubble from an oversized gulp of soda. My gaze drops to the table as my cheeks grow warm. And I bring a shaky hand to Genzu's sleeve, giving it an anxious tug. It's okay, Genzu. It's fine. Really. I eke out, my voice crackling. Genzu looks at me. Looks at Gidget. I see his brows twitch, then furrow. Then finally he sighs, letting himself fall back into his chair with a huff. Fine. Forget it, I guess. But I don't miss the hint of concern in the little glance he shoots me, nor the way Gidget simply stares at me, lips pulled into a thin line. I clasp my hands together beneath the table and stare down at my half-finished cup of tea. Your unfettered emotions tire me. I must rest. She wearily flicks her hand towards the Iggies, who sat at once to clearing the table. Stay if you so insist, my darlings. We'll see to it that you're comfortable. Though I recommend you embark upon the morn, I have no desire to join you in your silly game of heroism. Return to your unfulfilling lives and leave me be. But Gidget holds her palm out, cutting me off, and two nearby Iggies move forward and pull our chairs away from the table. I give a little retch as my napkin is yanked from my throat, then throw a pained glance in Gidget's direction as I am led from the room. The door swings shut behind us with a slam, making my bangs flutter forward. Well, that could have gone better. Yeah, you can say that again. But it could have gone a lot worse too, so I'd say we broke even. Guess there's nothing more we can do. Let's rose this highfalutin house. Genzu, his shoulders immediately slump. Yeah, I thought I'd try anyway. Maybe we'll have more luck tomorrow. We can't just leave. I throw an arm towards his lower half. I'm sure you could use a lie down anyways. You're admittedly not wrong about that. I've been about ready to pass out for the last hour. I cringe. I can't tell if he's exaggerating or telling the truth. Probably a little bit of both. Come on. I give his shoulder an encouraging pat. We'll get some rest. Oh, great. Then turn towards the front, where our Iggy guide is standing, head cocked and staring at us curiously. Oh, my soldiers jump. Sorry, were you waiting for us? He tilts his head in the opposite direction, silent a moment longer. Then promptly claps his hands together with an almost audible chop and twists on his heels, walking purposely down the hall. We fall into step behind him. Once back at the bottom of the stairs, he takes a lift, leading us down a corridor with more flustered Iggies running to and fro. Further. Past open doors leading into what look like libraries, studies, tea rooms, dining rooms, carving around the outside of a miniature theatre room complete with heavy silk curtains and rows of velvet seat, sorry. Through a glass hallway looking out onto a lush terrace, Gardener Iggy's chipping away at the bushes and flowers. This place is huge. I gulp unwittingly. It's all a bit much. But Iggy's in particular. Yeah, you can say that again. I can't help but feel a combination of discomfort and pity for them as they scurry about, mindlessly. Finally, after it feels like we've walked at least a couple entire cities over, our guide comes to a stop in the middle of a quietish hallway lined with doors. He glances left. Right. Then gestures towards the two closets. Closer, sorry. Thank goodness God was half expecting us to run into the Minotaur down here. These are for us? A zealous nod. I expect him to move out of the way, but he doesn't, just standing there staring at us. Thank you? Shuffle my feet, then start to step past him, only for him to whip something out of his shirt, holding it out expectantly. It's a piece of paper, and when I take to look at it more closely, I see it's a menu. Lists of exquisite-sounding dishes and desserts line its surface in fancy cold print. We can have any of these? Another nod. My eyes grow wide as I take in the array of options. Iggy has another sheet again, so who takes it curiously. The number of selections is staggering, to say the least. Almost an inhuman amount of stuff on the menu. And I feel myself start to sweat, at a loss as to what I should choose. Can I, have a moment to look it over? The Iggy nods, points up at a little... Wait, why is Gensu suddenly gone all red? Points up at a little bell above the door, then presses his palms together as though praying. Okay, cool. I say before glancing over again. Yeah, he's goddamn red! Who has suddenly gone so red I'm surprised he doesn't overheat on the spot. Well, what's wrong? He's just staring down at his paper. And when I lean in to take a look, I see a special service. It's written on top, followed by Ranger Services. I don't know, I can even bear to say out loud. Oh, dearie me. I swiped the paper away from him so fast I nearly tearing off my own cheeks burning. What's a special service this? I don't know why I think it's special services for Iggy's. Not for real one, but these lifeless. There will be no special services for the Iggy dolls. Then shove the offending piece of paper back into the Iggy's hands. We won't be needing this. The Iggy starts floundering, putting his hands to his head in anxious confusion and nearly dropping the paper, but finally shoves it back inside his shirt and bows. He says, can we just have the food and not the special services? He gestures towards our rooms with a sheepish wave of his arms. Thank you. I think Kenzo was going to accept one of those. You just ruined his spot in the limelight. Let's go, Kenzo. Kenzo's still just standing there, still just staring down at his hands with a paper in one spin. What's going through Kenzo's head right now? I can barely talk. His face still the colour of a tomato. Ignore the special services. Oh, gosh. A few hours later, and I've showered, toweled, and swaddled myself in a 2-inch thick bathrobe, feeling altogether more refreshed. Even more so when I step out of the bathroom to see the meal I'd ordered ready and waiting for me, atop gleaming plates of silver. Salmon pepper steak on rice. That sounds delicious, actually. Blue cheese wedge salad, also delicious. Baked sweet potato with butter and brown sugar. Really delicious. An entire tray of garlic bread dripping with oil. Could I have it in the gluten-free option? Unfortunately, I can't have wheat. And of course, desserts. Hot peanut butter sundae, slice of cookies and cream cheesecake. They even somehow procured me a box of shock tarts to snack on, which is saying something because I'm pretty sure we don't even make these anymore. Well, these are our childhood wonderland, so yeah. My stomach gurgles in spite of itself, and I let myself flop down on my bed with a sigh of content. The bed yields delightfully beneath me. All downy folds of cloud-like comfort cradling my very frame. I accidentally end up lying there, staring at the ceiling for about 5 minutes before remembering the food, then sit up with a jolt and scooch towards the trays. The meal is as delicious as it looked, to the point that it makes my jaw ache. And I wash it down with glasses of wine and juice, and some kind of curiously delicious lime drink the Iggy who'd come to take my order has firmly pointed to. But why in particular that lime drink? Between the food, the bed, the shower, and robe, I feel like $1,000,000, awash in unbridled complacency. There's way too much food for me to finish. Once my stomach begins to complain, I take a break, lying back amongst the downy blankets to snack on the shock darts as I study the surrounding walls. It's a cozy room. The same ornate vibes as the rest of the place, but smaller, more compact. Gold vines and leaves run up the wallpaper to nestle beneath exquisitely carved frames outlining the ceiling. Wall-high curtains hang in heavy set folds that dive from the rod like pressed fondant, and brilliantly polished furniture garnishes the environs at thoughtfully placed intervals. I close my eyes, breathe it all in. For once, my anxiety is nowhere to be found. I feel good. Another sigh. I let my gaze wander the room as I roll over onto my stomach. First to a shelf lined with books and trinkets on the far wall, then to the cupboard next to it, a small television set sitting on top. Curious. There's TV here? I push myself back up to a seat, searching around for a remote. Are there even any stations? I'm asking myself too many questions here. Then click it on. A sprightly professional tune begins to play as the screen comes to life, people talking. It's a news broadcast. Only... the one sitting behind the desk is Gidget, donning a crisp blue suit with her hair in a high bun. On Wonderland Insider, we have your daily dose of news from across the kingdom. As always, things couldn't be better for the 1500th day in a row. Clear skies as far as the eye can see, a lovely breeze coming in across the water. Yes, I'd say it's simply perfect. The perfect day to step out and take life by the reins, wouldn't you agree? The camera cuts away to a news scene with another desk, where Gidget is also sitting, only this time dressed in a sunny yellow dress and seated on a sprawling white couch. I say it is, and you know what else is perfect for? Today's words of inspiration. Remember, pessimism leads to weakness, while optimism leads to power. You can be perfect too if you only lock away those impure thoughts. Those impure thoughts allows us to be whole and not fragmented. Become who you were always meant to be. This sounds like propaganda, to say the least. The camera cuts away again, this time to another set, where Gidget in a trendy looking sweater and cat-eyed sunglasses stands among a bed of fake flowers and backdropped by fluffy white clouds. And now for today's fashion advice. Just because you're at home with the kids doesn't mean you need to look like a slob. Now you can make the other moms jealous with this jazzy sweater combo that'll have your man swanning when he comes home. Practical and sensational. I jam my finger into the channel button. This is getting too weird. This time the speakers greet me with a sprightly summary tune. Oh great, more Gidget. And my brows raised as I take in the sight of a bikini-clad Gidget standing in front of a gaggle of beswan trunk Iggies. She's moving her body in time with music, arms up and out, stretching from right to left, all while calling out words of encouragement as the Iggies follow in time behind her. I blink, watch her for a moment. It's quite relaxing actually, the music and movement. That's the way, you're doing great. Up, down, left, right. It's a game of Twister. It's soothing. Without really thinking about it, I slide off the bed and stand in front of a TV, then silently begin following along. One of the games is like, remember that sheet that Iggy removed from me because he didn't like the fact that I was red like a bloody, like a bloody tomato? Yeah. Could I have another copy, please? Because I'd like to re-scan what was on the special services. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now touch your toes, right to left. I'm bent down and do as I'm told. Back and forth with the music. This is some form of hypnotism. Then back up. A set of trunket twists followed by some knee lifts. My robe flips around me with the movement. I get so focused I don't even hear the door open, nor see the person exit. Is it Iggy? Just stretching my arms up and over my head with rhythmic pulses until, hey, it's Gensu. What the actual hell are you doing? I jump back so quietly I lose my footing and fall into a splayed pile of limbs on the floor. Gensu? I sit up with a flush, pulling my mused robe back in tight around my frame and scrambling for a remote. I click the TV off and the room goes uncomfortably silent. Gensu stares at me, blinks, then finally, should I even ask? I shake my head in quick, bashful little jerks, then rise shakily back to my feet. What are you doing here? Well, I was going to suggest we do a bit of investigating. Mostly because I figured you were probably over here worrying yourself into an anxious little mess. But I see now that I may have been mistaken. His gaze flicks towards the half-finished plates of food and desserts, the pile of mused sheets. Made yourself at home, did you? My cheeks go, oh, now we're the ones whose cheeks go red, and I attempt to extricate a low-hanging clump of bane out from in front of my eyes. Gensu, I mean, if you're fine, I'm fine, I guess. No, I bring a hand up in protest. Sure, I perhaps lost myself a bit. I think I would like to look around. Maybe. Would you mean by maybe? It's a yes or a no. It's a do or do not. There's no maybe or try. My voice gets smaller with each word, and my gaze drops to the floor. Alrighty then. Maybe put some pants on then. I'll meet you outside. I nod, then watch him wander back over to the door. Tendrils of shame poke at my cheeks. I already had lost myself. I need to focus. Get Gidget out of here. Find the others. Fix all of this. Right. I nod again. This time to myself. For myself. Then return to the bathroom to find my clothes. How much persuasion is it going to take for Gidget to finally realize that something needs to change? If the manor had felt large before, now it feels positively enormous. Every corner we turn reveals more and more hallways, and every hallway is lined with more and more doors. How does she even expect to use all of this space? Oh, she finds a way. I muse to myself as I stick my head inside another polished den, this one with a crackling fire casting dancing tufts of light across the floor. I catch sight of the adjacent window before returning my gaze to the hallway. Dark. Night already? How does anyone with this much space use it? Gensu opens up a door to some kind of Iggy dorm room, 6 Iggies glancing up in surprise at his intrusion. He balks and slams the door shut. I feel like we've wandered through about 100 hallways already, and the most interesting thing we've found was a signed copy of Moby Dick. Yeah, that was weird. I'm not sure what we were expecting to find anyway. Some magical key that will make Gidget listen to us? No. No matter how magical our Wonderland is, there's no such thing as a key that makes Gidget listen. Indeed, especially considering that we already had that key. We do? Yeah, it's called you, Iggy. Genzo brings a hand up and flicks my forehead. You dumbass! Exactly. I was following on what Genzo was saying there. I slapped my hand to my forehead with a wince. Oh, then. Hey, that's... But Genzo has already moved on, whistling under his breath as he rounds the next corner. Oh hey, we're back at the entrance. My irritation evaporates, only to morph instead into hopeless frustration. That means we've walked around this entire place. I throw my hands out in exasperation, which startles the nearby Iggy standing watch by the door. We call it a night then? Get ourselves some shut-eye? I scratch my head, eyes wandering the entry hall. It looks the same as when we walked in, only yellower, now that the light from the wall scones is illuminating this place, or the space, sorry. I turn around towards the back stairs leading to Gidget's room. Is she up there now? What is she doing? A curlicue of guilt plays with my spine. You've done nothing but stifle me all my life, you and your graceless comments. If only I could talk to her. I don't think apologizing is going to fix anything, or something. Nothing I say will take back the things I've said, fix them, but maybe somehow. When I drop my gaze, I notice the stairs keep going downward, spiral continuing past the edge of the floor. Oh. Genzu wanders up next to me. There's a basement? Apparently. Either that or a portrait to hell, which is funny because I thought we were already there. Yeah. Exactly, Genzu. We are definitely in the confines of hell. I start slinking towards the stairs. I almost said sinking there. To peek over the railing, trying to catch a glimpse of the lower floor. It feels forbidden somehow. No one has said a thing about us. No one has said a thing about us walking around. Not even when we barged into rooms or gotten in the way of Iggy's trying to go about their hurried tasks. But somehow, looking at those descending stairs, I can't help but feel this area is off limits. Oh gosh, me again with reading into the future. Glance back. Genzo's just looking at me. And beyond him, I see the watchman Iggy rocking side to side on his feet, staring up at the ceiling as he bobs his head to some melody in his head. There's no one else in sight. I return my gaze to the stairs, then nonchalantly stroll down them. Iggs! Genzo hisses before clutching his cap to his head and dashing after me, but I don't stop until I reach the bottom. Ooh, another hallway. Though this one is darker, the walls covered in deep red paper. I wonder if this is what Gidget means by burying her negative emotions. And the scones are spaced further apart, their flickering light casting long shadows across the floor. Genzo nearly rams into my back as he comes flying down the stairs after me. Jesus, maybe warn a guy before you decide to go all lumping the third, will you? I was trying to be subtle. Subtle and you go together like my ass and those horrible Lambruki city bus seats. You try and you try, but you just can't make it work. His gaze goes to the hallway, so he blinks. This does look mildly promising, though, in a probably going to get us killed kind of way. Come on, let's check it out. I start forward down the hall. Raring to go as ever at the sign of agonizing death, I see. Well, we have faced the door to agonizing death so many times, and some of them we have entered through. We walk silently down the darkened corridor, our footsteps masked by the thick rugs. It's eerie the way our shadows jump from sconce to sconce, like out-of-sync shadow puppets projected on the walls. It doesn't take long to reach the end, and upon reaching it, the hallway turns left sharply, revealing a small entryway with a single red door. That's not ominous. Red door, red room, and a single Iggy standing guard in front of it. Ooh, why you? Okay, that just screams suspicious. What in the world would Gidget have locked away down here, though? And if it's so special, why is there only one Iggy guard in it? Surely you would think there'll be more guards down here if it's so precious. You're asking me? I mean, your mind has to go there, doesn't it, Yensu? Your mind just has to go down there. Especially with all these Iggies around. But my first thought is when it comes to these things. So I'm not sure that's saying much. How do we get in, though? I think we could take them. We're not attacking the Iggy doll. I mean, just against his face, it's like, yeah, I'm going to take on that Iggy doll. Not only will that it'll just run, but for all we know, they could have some kind of I don't know, built-in alert function. Fine, you got another brilliant plan. In fact, I do. I pull back, fingers to my chin. I'll distract him. Then you slip inside. I have to go? Well, we can't both go. What if we get trapped down there? This way, I'll be able to get you out if anything happens. Oh, you will, Mr. Allergic to Conflict. I'd like to see that. I really don't like this plan. Come on, it'll be fine. I'll stay here until you come back out. Then I can distract the god again. Genzu rubs his chin. Follows his brows. Looks at me. Fine. But only because I'm pretty goddamn curious what's down there. He jabs his finger into my chest, but you better goddamn well stay right here, you hear me? You better stay there, like trying to stare at one creature in lethal company, in which if you stay away from it, it's just going to violently attack me, okay? No wandering off and getting yourself into trouble, as you are wont to do. I raise my hand in defeated acceptance. I will. Iggy Maxwell, I swear to God if you... He curses beneath his breath, but ultimately shakes his head. Whatever, just go do your thing. Distract the little button-eyed bugbear. Aye, Captain. I can't hear you. I shoot him a playful salute, I was supposed to call it a statue. That makes the corner of his mouth twitch, then peek back around the corner. The Iggy guard is still standing in front of the door. He's rocking from side to side, looking up the ceiling, looking down at the floor, scrutinizing something on his wrist. This doesn't seem like it's going to be particularly difficult. I clutch my hand to my chest with an over-exaggerated groan and go stumbling out into the middle of the room. The Iggy guard jumps back in surprise, going ramrod straight, then comes rushing over. Oh God, the pain! I stagger half-trip, take another few fleeting steps, then collapse into a heap as far away as possible from the door as I can. I claw my fingers into the folds of my shirt, breathe labored, and voice hurts. I could see the light. The Iggy guard looks positively distraught. He slaps his hands to his cheeks, gazing down at me in concern. Please, help. I don't think I have much longer. I reach my fingers towards him. Now he's pounding the heels of his hands to his forehead. Almost feel guilty. Almost. With a little wobble, he drops to his knees next to me, tentatively reaches towards my shoulders. Despite being made of buttons, his eyes are surprisingly emotive. And the look of sheer despair he's given me is enough to make me feel like I'm actually dying. He pulls my upper half into his lap, hands soothing back my hair. Thank you. I'm just glad to have someone here at the end. Aww, you can cry. Big salty tears start streaming down the Iggy's face. I've no idea where they're coming from. They're just there. And with a shudder jerk, he squeezes me in against his belly in a hug so tight I can't even breathe. I let out a muffled eep, but catch sight of a door just around the bony hump of Iggy's wrist. Genzu has it open, but it's just standing there, shooting me a look of pure, unadulterated bewilderment. I blink, jerk my head in the direction of the door of a glare, then bury myself into the Iggy's embrace with even greater fervor, letting out a series of throaty sobs. Only once I see the door close do I pull back with a jerk. The Iggy looks at me. I look at the Iggy. We stare at each other for a good 30 seconds. Then I bring my hands up with a shrug. Oh, guess I'm feeling better now. I laugh, push myself up to my feet, then walk stiff-legged back towards the hallway and around the corner. I don't stop until I'm well outside, my back to the wall and my heart beating out of my chest. I hadn't even realized how nervous I'd been the entire time. Heat of a moment, I guess. But now it's all rushing to catch up with me, and just for a few seconds it feels like my head's spinning. I just stand there and breathe until my body finally begins to unclench. When I'm feeling semi-normal again, I chance a glance back around the corner to see the Iggy just stand in the middle of the room, brows curled in confusion. He brings a finger to his chin, looking left, looking right, then finally wandering back towards the door with a scratch on his head. Mission accomplishment or something. Good work. I let out a sigh of relief. Now to wait. Wait? Of course wait. Really? My gaze wanders back down the hallway towards the steps. That's not why you came down here. That's not why you suggested splitting up. I bite down my lip. You want to go find her. It's true. I want to talk to her. I need to talk to her. It might be the only chance I've got, and I've got to do it alone. Something Genzo would never would have approved of, sorry. Deep down, I've been planning this the whole time. Oh, cheeky Iggy. I'm the only one that can fix this. I run a shaky hand through my hair, forehead sweaty. Damn, I lost a grand total of about 30 seconds, didn't I? A world record for myself? I throw a silent apology in Genzo's direction, then take off back down the hall. You better have a good explanation as to why you've done this. That bugger probably lost a grand total of 30 seconds. Genzo? Genzo scowls, lets his gaze wander his new environment. It's dim on the other side of the door, and he nearly stumbles down the stairs in front of him. He lets out a string of 4-letter words and throws a hand out against the stone wall to catch himself. Blank this house. He swallows, clenches his jaw, takes a tentative step forward to seek out the next stair. It creaks beneath his weight. Blank this playground of death. Another step. Blank those blanking murder rabbits. Blank Miss Muffet and her bloody tea party. And blank Iggy for not ever blanking doing what I'm blanking telling him to. He makes it to the bottom of a huff, then just stands there. Readjusts his hat. Then finally, no, don't blank Iggy. He wouldn't like that. He rubs at his face and turns towards his environs instead. It's dark and it's dank and it's dirty. A hallway lined with a large cold stone. A heavy wetness permeating the air. Something dripping off in the distance. And bars, punctuating the walls every 5 or 6 feet. Like cells? Dungeon? Gosh, goddamn, do I hate being right all the time. The only light drifts in from semi-rectangular windows high up on the walls. In the cells, the moon bright and golden amongst the sea of stars outside. Charming. You could really do a lot with this place. Okay, Genzo. Keep your head out of the gutter for 1 second, please. He begins walking forward, dodging a few low-hanging spiderwebs that catch on his cheeks. Then taps a finger against one of the bars on his left, almost as though testing its durability. Gidget. Just what you got down here, huh? He peeks through into the empty cell beyond, gaze jumping between the puddles of stagnant water collected in the grout. What could be so ingarduous you need to lock it away like a plague-infected son of a gun? He resumes his forward amble, hands shoved in his pockets. Past cell after cell, each one as empty as the next, as dismal as the next. A sudden bone-chilling breeze curls against his legs and up under his coat, bringing him to a stop. He looks right, left, his face white. Really hope I'm not about to be brutally butchered here in the next 30 seconds, Ben continues. After about 15 more hesitant steps, he nears the end of the corridor, a single final cell at its head, somehow darker and murkier than the rest. He moves towards it, nervous yet curious. This one is occupied. By who, though? Oh, who could you be? A shadowy figure sits against the inside wall, barely visible amongst the surrounding gloom. Genzo curls his hands around the bars, peers inside, blinking, then sucks in his breath. Well, blank me with a Jane Austen novel. Who are you? Who are you? Actually, are you the real Gidget? Gidget! I throw open the door to Gidget's bedroom with a wince-worthy slam. Gidget, I need to talk to you. Only my voice trails off as I survey the perimeter. The room is dark. Oh, it is dark. Though not for sleep, apparently, as Gidget isn't in her bed. Nor is she at the table. Nor is she anywhere in the entire room. What has happened, actually, as Genzo went into that cell? I press my lips together. Interesting. Where else would she be at this hour? There's no sign of any Iggies either. The room is empty still, to the point of omnonicity, especially compared to the flurry of activity occupying the rest of the manor. I think if you go back outside, you'll see that the manor's changed. I take a step forward, only for the sudden click of the door closing behind me to send my heart hurtling towards my voice box. I was swallowed by the darkness, all of that eerie still, and it takes me a solid 60 seconds for my heart to calm and my arm hairs to fold back over my skin. Damn door! I start towards it, then decide against it, no need to potentially draw attention to myself. And instead I grope for a light switch on the wall. Where? There. The room goes bright, a soothing yellow light. Though it takes my eyes a few flustered blinks before my vision adjusts, I can see things better now. Which does nothing except confirm the fact that Gidget is nowhere to be found. In fact, the bed doesn't even look it's been touched. The duvet is perfectly pressed, the pillows arranged just so. And across from it, the table has been laid out for what looks like evening tea, but the tea itself has already been consumed. I bring my hands to my hips with a frustrated pout. So much for my great plan. Why does it seem like most of my plans end up failing horribly? Hell, most things I do in general. Flashes of Gidget run through my head, her face, brows furrowed, lip trembling. How many times have I seen her cry? How many times have I made her cry? All because I can't figure out how to say the right thing. Why does it always feel like there's some kind of secret code to social interaction? It's just called being being a decent person, let alone a nice person. Take a moment to wander the room, gaze mindlessly, scanning the furniture, the walls. There's more photos of her. All the photos are of her. It's just a tad unnerving. As I approach the nearby bookshelf, I notice one of the books is uneven. Oh, it's one of those mystery sort of things where we pull the book and a secret stairway opens from behind it, sticking out from the others like a broken piano key. Charlotte's Web. Now there's a book I haven't thought about in a long time. Curiosity get the better of me. I reach out, pull the book from its spot, only for the entire shelf to recoil from my touch with an earthly rumble. It shimmies, shakes, the books and bubbles on its shelves rocking back and forth, before shifting back into the wall and sliding to the right, leaving behind a dark hole in its wake. Of course it would. I stare at it in bewilderment, hand poised with the book still clenched between my fingers. Why does this always seem to happen to me? I poke my head inside. There's a mouldy smell in the air, and from what I can see in the light from the room, the walls appear slick and lumpy. I made a face, but I don't seem to have much of a choice. Of course you have a choice. You can back now, or go forward into the depths of darkness. At least if I actually want to figure out what's going on here. So with a sigh of resignation, I place the book on the bedside table and start my trek down the newly opened shaft. It's a strange tunnel, round almost, as though created by some large creature burrowing through the wall. And the walls themselves are rough, like a road of concrete, sticky with a kind of gelatinous substance that grows thicker the further I walk. I'm reminded vaguely of the sewers we used to explore as kids. Gidget in the lead, with her little flashlight, round circle of light flickering to and fro in the darkness. As behind her, the four of us would peer anxiously through the gloom, a mixture of terror and excitement in our hushed voices as we pondered about what we might find. But Gidget then had always taken my hand, led me around the murky puddles, cleared the cobwebs from my path. But there's no Gidget to guide me this time. And more than once I feel my spine tingle in disgust at the feeling of something sticky against my fingers or slurping beneath my shoes. I'll find you, Gidget. I'll find the real you. I'll find the real you. Not this. Whatever this is, you've become. What this world has turned you into. No, what I've turned you into. The tunnel is so dim I can barely see my hand in front of my face. And when I look back, the small circle of bedroom light looks miles and miles away like a star against the black sky. I clench my jaw and carry on, for there is only one path in front of me. It's colder now. A deep, unsettling chill seeping into my pores and through my bones. My hair is heavy with it. My clothes like damp towels weigh me down. And when my hand reaches out next, my fingers catch on thread-like bars that snag at my skin. I jerk back, scratch and claw at my hand to remove the offending substance, only to walk face first into another, this one stretching across my cheeks and hair. God, they're all over me! I wipe at them in building panic. But even as I peer ahead, I see all the silvery outlines of more. They hang from the ceiling like ghostly curtains, stretched between the walls, forming dew-dropped patterns that glisten among the surrounding umbra. My heart's going into overtime now. I wipe at my eyes again and again. Keep it together, Iggy. Keep it together. I give my forehead a few good whaps with the heel of my hand, then clench my fists and carry on. The cobwebs grow thicker the further I go, impossible to avoid, and I constantly have to bat them away, yank them out of my hair, whip them from my clothes. My skin prickles of it, sending tendrils of panic up and down my arms, my shoulders. They tighten my lungs, making it hard to pull in air, even as my breaths come out faster and faster. Just keep going. Just keep going. I wrench an especially sticky piece of web out of my eyes, my lashes bristling with tears. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. Oh, I messed up. I need to stumble forward. There's a sudden dip in the ground, and my feet goes hard down. Down hard, sloshing in an inch-deep pool of stagnant water. Ice-cold moisture seeps straight into my shoes, soaking my socks, splashing up and onto my pants. I can't contain the whine of despondency that buzzes up between my lips. It's enough to steal my attention from the webs, my gaze going into my surroundings as I gingerly place my other foot into the water. It's wider now, a room of sorts. The same sticky substances dripping off the walls and ceilings in baseball-sized globs now, and the cobwebs stretch breathtakingly large across the increased space. into the spider's nest. You can say that again with all of these webs about. So I wonder if there's going to be a web of lies among these parts at some point. And yeah, I do wonder actually if Genzu stumbled into the real Gidget, because there's something almost too forged together about that Gidget, and also her snake-like eyes when her eyes turned yellow and her pupils turned red. So yeah, I'm thinking that that is some kind of evil or fake Gidget. Definitely fake, and one that has kind of transformed the entire town into this abomination. And it's taken the worst aspects of Gidget and turned it into her persona, minus the desires to be you-know-what with Iggy. Although Genzu was definitely most appreciated of the the special services menu. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all on the next time of Our Wonderland. And I'm just gonna go to the gallery just to look at this one last time in Arc 5. Yeah, which one is it? Yeah, this one. Yeah, the menu. Face like a tomato. No. And removes it. Oh dear. Poor old Genzu. He just wanted those special services. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone, and take care of yourselves. And also, yeah, the choice we made earlier, I think there were other things which we could have unlocked, but alas, we didn't make those choices in which we could have died or regretted, because one of them involves slapping Genzu, possibly.